All right, let's talk about a super common choice drivers make. We're going to break down why it might just be one of the most dangerous and, yeah, expensive mistakes you can make with your car.
I think we can all relate to this, right? You get a flat tire, you're in a pinch, and the shop's like, hey, we've got this budget-friendly option to get you back on the road. And at the time, it just seems like a smart, practical move.
But here's the thing, that simple choice, it has consequences most of us never even think about. And look, we're not just talking about a little bit of performance here, we're talking about some serious safety risks and the potential for a repair bill that could absolutely dwarf whatever you saved up front.
So, let's start at the beginning. How does this all happen? Well, it usually starts with just one single damaged tire, and that one tire can open the door to a much bigger and way more hidden problem.
Okay, now this is really the core of the whole issue. You might think, hey, as long as two tires are the same size, like a 225/65 R17, they're basically interchangeable. Well, that assumption is completely, totally wrong, and it's the very reason this is so dangerous.
First up, let's talk about the rubber itself. You got to understand every brand uses its own unique chemical formula. So think of it like this. Some tires have softer rubber, which gives you incredible grip, but they wear down fast. Other tires use harder rubber, which lasts way longer, but gives you less traction. So when you mix them, each corner of your car is literally gripping the road with a different amount of force.
And then there's the tread pattern. Each one is this highly engineered design, and its main job is to push water away from the tire. But brand A's design is completely different from brand B's. So what happens in the rain? Well, it means one side of your car might be clearing water just fine, while the other side is actually starting to hydroplane. Not good.
And this is why the big manufacturers, like Continental, are so incredibly specific about their recommendations. This isn't just marketing fluff, folks. They're telling you straight up that for a car to handle predictably all of these things, the brand, the size, the tread, even the load index and speed rating, they all need to be identical on all four wheels.
So, what happens when all those things don't match? Well, it builds into four very specific and very real dangers every single time you get behind the wheel.
Let's break them down, starting with how this messes with your car's handling.
I love this analogy. It's like trying to sprint with one running shoe and one slippery dress shoe. Yeah, you can walk, but your balance is just dangerously off. In normal, everyday driving, you might not even notice it. But in an emergency, that sudden swerve, that hard brake, that's when the car gets unstable. One side just doesn't respond like the other, and that's exactly when you can lose control.
And that brings us to the biggest risk of all, wet weather. Just how much of a difference can two new tires make when you're braking in the rain? Look at that number, 50 feet. That's the potential difference in stopping distance between the best and worst ones out there. That is 3 whole car lengths. Now just imagine having both of those tires on the same car. The instability would be absolutely massive.
And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. We're talking about experts who've spent, 50 years in the tire industry, and they are crystal clear on this. Mixing different brands is just incredibly dangerous, especially when it's wet out. You're creating a recipe for disaster because the car just can't maintain balanced traction. Okay, this is so important. All those modern safety systems in your car, ABS, stability control, they are all designed and calibrated assuming one thing, that all four tires are behaving exactly the same. When they're not, the car's computer gets all this conflicting data and it just gets confused. It can't make the right corrections. So in that one critical moment when you need them most, the very systems designed to save you could actually fail. All right, so if the safety risks weren't enough to convince you, let's talk about the financial bombshell. And this one is especially for anyone out there driving an all-wheel drive vehicle. This is where a tiny little saving up front can turn into a truly catastrophic expense down the road. So, just a quick refresher on how all-wheel drive works. Basically, that super complex system of gears and sensors in your car is built around one single simple rule. It assumes all four of your tires are the exact same size and are rotating at the exact same speed.
But here's the catch. Even when tires are labeled the same size, there can be tiny little differences in their actual diameter from brand to brand. And your AWD system, it sees that tiny difference and thinks a wheel is slipping on ice. So it starts working nonstop 24/7 trying to correct a problem that doesn't even exist. This puts just immense constant stress on your entire drivetrain.
And this is the brutal math.
Look, you might save, 80, maybe $150 on that one mismatched tire, but that one decision can directly lead to your transfer case or your differential completely failing. We're talking a repair bill that can easily top $3,500. All of a sudden, buying the correct tires doesn't seem so expensive, does it?
Okay, so now that we all understand the problem, let's talk about the solution. Because the good news is, staying safe and protecting your car is actually really straightforward. You just have to follow a few simple rules.
First off, these are the absolute non-negotiables. Think of these as the hard and fast rules. You never mix run-flat tires with regular tires. You never mix winter tires with all seasons. Each of those creates a seriously dangerous difference in grip and stiffness. And the biggest rule of all, never ever have different brands on the same axle. That is, the left versus the right side of your car.
Now, what if you absolutely can't replace all 4 tires at once? Okay, here's the bare minimum for safety. It's called the same axle rule. Your 2 front tires must be a matching pair, and your 2 back tires must be a matching pair. This is what maintains that side-to-side stability, and that is the most critical thing for keeping control of your vehicle.
And for all you AWD owners out there, listen up, because this is probably the most important takeaway for you. Your margin for error is incredibly small. If you have to replace just 1 tire and your other 3 are worn down by just 4/32 of an inch, that's less than the height of a quarter, you are risking serious drivetrain damage. In that case, a shop telling you to replace all 4 isn't an upsell, it's essential preventative maintenance.
So, when it's all said and done, it really just comes down to this one question, doesn't it? Is saving $50 today really worth a $3,500 risk tomorrow? When you put it like that, the right choice becomes pretty clear.